Kelsi Musick is joining us. I believe it's been 103 days since she took the Arkansas, or was announced as the Arkansas women's basketball coach. Kelsi, welcome back to the show. Coach, thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
What have the first 100-plus days on the job been like? How would you sum it up?
A whirlwind. Definitely a whirlwind, but, constructing a staff, trying to get in the portal, finalize this upcoming season's roster, my kids finishing school, attempting to move, which still isn't totally done yet, but a little bit of everything from my personal life to obviously everything here at the U of A for women's basketball.
When you hit the road with the road show, you're getting to know the people of Arkansas. They're getting to know you. What were you trying to impart to them? What did you want them to learn about you as you went around the state?
Just to get to know that the energy, the passion, the excitement for women's basketball. I wanted them to feel that from me and to get excited and to come out and give my team a chance over in Bud Walton.
When you take the job and you evaluate the roster and you've got rev share and NIL and all these things to sort of evaluate, what has it been like and what is the challenge of putting together this roster with all of the factors, including you just got here?
Well, also constructing a staff to help me do that. So in the midst of trying to evaluate a roster. Between meetings, some chose to get in the portal. Then just, us, my staff and I hopping in the portal and trying to find the best fits with what we have, rev share and NIL, a huge topic, but it's also ever changing, with the settlement, with the signing, the judge signing off on everything. I think it's a moving piece that's still ever changing. And I think it will continue to change. So it's hard to say. But a lot of moving pieces, a lot of information that had to be processed, learned, and really just put to the test in those moments quickly. Because you don't have a lot of time. Portal opens, you're trying to get what you can, get the right fit too. That's important. You're not just getting in there trying to. You also want the players who want to be Arkansas Razorbacks that also fit the system that I'm implementing. Those are important pieces that I would never want to neglect.
For any of us, if we start something new, we got to go find people to believe in what we're starting. And then once we have sort of our proof of concept, like if you talk about business, then it's like maybe more people, they believe, they jump on. But you're selling a little vision early on. Mm-hmm. What is that vision right now, and how much of that's sort of, where you came from and then what you're going to do here, your recruiting pitch, so to speak. What is that?
Just the style of play is extremely important. Our culture is, top priority here. So some of the things that I've been able to do at the past, rebuilding and building programs at my previous stops, have been obviously a topic of conversation in the recruiting realm. But the biggest thing is culture, faith, family, and fearless. And, we always say we believe that the high-octane offense that we're going to implement and run, it is a system. And all of those pieces, I think, have been a huge portion of the recruiting. Just talking to potential student athletes, talking to their parents, allowing them to see my vision, see my passion, and try to get some of them on campus so we could try to seal the deal for the ones that we were able to get that done.
I want to hear a little bit more about your style of play. That's interesting to me. What your plans are there in terms of what people will see when they go to the arena?
I've been known to run a high-octane offense. Last season at ORU, my team was 8th in the nation in scoring. So getting up and down, playing fast, shooting the three ball, getting to the rim, forcing issues. So speed and tempo, just the passion, the energy, the fight, the grit, those things are extremely important. It's a dribble drive, 4 out, 1 in. We utilize our post in multiple ways, but It's about spacing. I always tell my players, you got to create space, and then you got to make sure that you're filling those gaps to help your teammates. So it is a system. There are certain rules and regulations, but the one thing that I think that players love playing for me is I don't put them in a box. They're going to be able to make plays. They've got to play out of things. They're going to be able to read and react. But high octane speed, scoring a lot of points is definitely our goal.
Kelsi Musick with us, Arkansas's women's basketball coach. All right, so the Summit League, any league you play in, there's intricacies in that league. The kind of players, the way you try to implement your style. What do you think the biggest difference will be in playing the way you want to play, the way you played at Oral Roberts, and the league and the athletes that you're going to be in the SEC that you're dealing with?
Speed and physicality. They already play really fast, and we've got to get our teams playing at that speed consistently at a high level in which we can score consistently 80 to 90 points. And then, we've got to guard. So I would say the physicality as well, physicality and rebounding. I think one thing that the SEC, they do is a lot of teams, they rebound. It's not that they're shooting the best percentage, but they rebound so hard, they're giving themselves so many more shot attempts per game. So just that physicality in the paint and that rebounding threat that the vast majority of the SEC teams pose, we've got to make sure we're getting stronger, we're getting physical, and we're being able to combat those things as well.
All right, let's talk about let's get out of the weeds. Let's talk about the holiday upcoming. What's the Musick family do on a traditional July 4th weekend if you can?
Well, if I wasn't moving,
yeah,
I'm actually moving this weekend. So,
do you need any help? Can we send anybody to help? I mean, many hands make for light work.
So we're finalizing some stuff this week. So hopefully, I'm moving some furniture in a new home this weekend. But normally, we're hanging out with family by a pool, spending some time with, like I said, with just my kids and my family, watching some fireworks. I'm not really into setting off fireworks personally. My kids kind of like it, but just enjoying time together, preparing some food, cooking, grilling, and just hanging out with family is definitely the usual norm for the Musick family.
Yeah, the kids want to go buy the fireworks. They want to go to the fireworks stand, right? And then and as a parent, you're like, this is cool. And then the next thing you know, you've spent, I don't know, a couple $100 if you're lucky. Maybe you didn't spend more than that. And then now we got to go set them off. And then it's a little, it can be nerve-wracking.
It is for me, so I just shy away from it. I'm like, let's just watch it. Someone else is setting them off. Let's just watch. That's my.
Do your kids?
If it's up to me, that's what I'm doing.
Remind us of the ages of your kids.
I've got my daughter, she's 18. She just graduated. But my boys are 12 and 9.
Okay. So they play sports growing up?
Oh, basketball, yeah. I think they've been training about, I don't even know how many hours a day. They've been living in the practice gym.
So I'm curious, just as a parent. So you're the coach of a major D1 program, in the SEC. How do you handle the coach hat versus the mom hat when it comes to your kids?
Well, that's tough for me. My oldest, Maddox, he's okay with me correcting him and getting on him. I yell at him a little bit, probably more than I should. Titus is built a little different. Sometimes you have to kind of talk to him a little bit. So I think it's like getting to know my own team, understanding what my kids need from me. But man, I love watching them play when I get the opportunity, which I hate missing. And it does. If there's a way I can get there, I'm watching it. But I'll be honest, spending some of my summer weekends watching my kids play is some of my best days.
Yeah, that's great. Well, good luck with the move. I think sometimes, as fans, we forget there's a whole life that you got to put together. Yeah. You don't just take the job and, show up. You got to do all the things that anybody else does when they move. But good luck to you, Coach, the rest of the offseason, and thanks for making time for us today.
I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great 4th of July as well.
Thank you so much.
You do
appreciate
the same.
you hopping on. Kelsi Musick